Hi, I'm Brian Arnoff, chef and owner of CapMac. Today we're going to be making fried macaroni and cheese. We have all of our ingredients laid out over here. This is basically going to be our breading setup. We have flour, we're going to have some eggs and a little cream, some panko breadcrumbs, some seasoning, and our mac and cheese. So what we're going to start with here is some leftover mac and cheese. You can use any mac and cheese recipe you want. Feel free to check out any of our other videos on mac and cheese and use any of the existing recipes that we've already provided. We're going to depan this mac and cheese. It's really hardened up nicely. It's still nice and cold from the refrigerator. And we're going to cut it. I like to cut it into little squares. You could do slices. You could get a ring mold out here and be fancy and do all different kinds of things. But I think keeping it simple and making them small so they fry up quickly is your best bet. So we're going to go right into some cubes. We got some nice cubes here. I'm going to set this other mac and cheese aside. And now we're going to set up our breading station. Classic breading station always consists of flour, which we like to season, a little salt and a little pepper. And then there's going to be your wet. I like 2 eggs, plus about 2 tablespoons of cream. This is going to create a really viscous, wet mixture for your fried mac and cheese and hold your crumbs on really well. And last but not least, we have our panko breadcrumbs. We also want to season our panko slightly. You could use traditional breadcrumb here. I like the texture of panko breadcrumb. It adds a really, really crunchy exterior to this fried mac and cheese. Lastly, over here we have our oil. You could use an electric deep fryer if you have one, or just some oil on the pot. This is really important that you always keep your eye on this oil. Make sure it doesn't get too hot. If you have an oil thermometer, we're looking for about 365 in temperature. Or you can use any number of tricks. I like the wooden spoon trick. Basically, you take the end of your wooden spoon, dip it into the oil, and if you get some light bubbling coming up around the wooden spoon, you know you're at the right temperature. If the bubbles are coming up too strong, you want to turn your heat down, and if you're not getting any bubbles, you want to turn your heat up. But it looks like we're at the right temperature right now. So now we're going to bread our mac and cheese. Now, I always have a hard time with this, but what you want to try and do is dry hand, wet hand. Your dry hand is going to be only in your flour and in your panko, and your wet hand is only going to be in the eggs. This is going to prevent you from getting what we call club hand. And we're just going to keep going here. We're going to bread up a couple pieces, maybe just 2 to get us started. Give these guys a little shimmy shake. And you really want to make sure you pack this panko on there really well, because this is going to form that really tasty exterior. Now I'm going to just wipe my hands off, see, not too much of a mess with the wet hand, dry hand. And we're going to gently place these into our frying oil. And we're going to allow them to fry for about 2 to 3 minutes, or until golden brown on the outside and heated through in the center. As you can see, the oil is bubbling up gently, but not too crazy, which is just what you want. You always want to make sure that you leave about 2/3 of your pan empty to leave room for your oil to foam up. If you don't, you could have the oil boil over and become a fire hazard. So it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. As you can see here, our mac and cheese has fried up beautifully. It's gotten golden brown on the outside, and I can just tell by giving it a little tap that it's soft and gooey on the inside. We're going to drain it here on a little bit of a clean towel over a sheet pan. You could use paper towel if you prefer. We also today just have a little marinara sauce as a dipping sauce. You want to crack these open, and you can just see how gooey and steamy they are on the inside. Today we made fried macaroni and cheese. I'm Brian Arnoff with CapMac. Thank you very much for watching.